It's become really rare for a car that we review here on the channel to actually have a role, a speaking role that is, in any of the movies, shorts, or any form of Cars media. And so I'm really grateful and excited to be reviewing Otis. Like, it's just something, I guess, about all the background characters they've been releasing lately, the NASCAR racers that haven't appeared in anything at all. And so Otis here, he actually appeared in two scenes, in the beginning of Cars 2 and in the very end of the film as well. And that's also rare, to appear in multiple scenes, unless you're a Piston Cup racer that obviously appeared during multiple races. And yeah, dare I say, Otis had a pretty substantial role in the film, starting off kind of being the main force to show how great Mater's friendship is for McQueen. That really is the role that he served, in my opinion. And we'll get into all that stuff in a little bit here. But yeah, guys, welcome back to a new review of Otis. Now, obviously, it's not his first time being released, but it is his first time being released from Thailand. And they made it so he can be towed by the new Mater with working tow hook that I just reviewed on my channel a few weeks ago. So I'll leave the review for that in the description below and card session pop-up. I definitely recommend checking it out so you can see how he works with Lightning McQueen, this version in particular. It was a ton of fun, and we're going to demonstrate how he works with Otis as well. So I'm really excited for that. But we're going to just dive right in. Now, Otis was originally released in the Porta Corsa series in 2012, toward the beginning of the year. That's when they were only releasing Cars 2 characters. They had some sidelines going, though, from Take Flight, like Moon Mater and Air Mater, but pretty much the main line was only Cars 2 stuff. And then in 2016, he returned in the number 95 Return series. And so that was basically a series showcasing all the cars from that initial Radiator Springs scene. So Galloping Gear Grinder, Otis, Mater with Balloon, and unfortunately they don't show it on the background here, but we are getting Mater with Balloon. And artist Ramone, who also, all of those characters were in that number 95 Return series in 2016. So even though Mattel doesn't put a series on the package anymore, it's pretty evident that they're going for something along those lines. I mean, they've released multiple Rusty cars already, and they've released multiple fans like Darla Vanderson, Matthew Chublumakru, Timothy Two-Strokes. So they're definitely still kind of adhering to some series, unspoken ones. But yeah, they're using the same art for him, and it looks great. It looks great that they're using the Radiator Springs background. I would have been so upset if they goofed and they forgot where Otis appeared, and then they put the Piston Cup background. That would have been so annoying. Good job, Mattel. He did appear in Cars 2. You have Miguel Camino. I'm going to skip some. Sheriff, Sarge on the background. Those we already knew about. But up until this point, these other four had not been revealed, at least not publicly on the back of any card backs. Like, Otis has literally brought all four of these 2022 releases into existence. You have artist Ramone, Lewis Hamilton, Chisaki, and Francesco Bernoulli. Artist Ramone will be a new Thailand variant, while the rest of them have already been released from Thailand. And I'm sure they'll be in some of the upcoming cases here pretty soon. Now, Otis is going to be pretty rare this year. There's only one per case. I'm not sure if he'll be in any future cases, but it's possible. This one I actually found in a store. I actually pulled it directly from a case. You'll see in episode 20 of The Hunt. And obviously it's not on the best of cards, and so I decided to open them. Let's do that right now. So here is Otis out of the package, and while I was opening him, I realized that I said something not very intelligible toward the beginning there about Otis's main purpose in Cars 2. While he did display the dynamic between Mater and McQueen, as Mater vaulted toward Radiator Springs with Otis attached to him because he realized McQueen had returned, which I still don't really understand how Max snuck in the Radiator Springs without Mater seeing, because there's only one road that goes in the Radiator Springs. So I don't know, that was always a little confusing to me, unless Mater was just out and about, on some side roads. But whatever, that's besides the point. Either way, Otis's actual purpose in the film, or at least primary one, is to introduce the idea of lemons, because Otis broke down on the side of the road. And Obviously, lemons were the main villains in the film. But he was a good lemon. He wasn't a bad one like Rem Racer or even Miles Axelrod. And there he is in the film. I will show a screenshot from both scenes. Otis does kind of get around though. He even appears in Ramone's House of Body Art as Mater kind of launches him in there. I'm already super impressed with this version of Otis from Thailand here. Same thing with Andy Vaporlock. Well, we're going to put the Chinese variation there on the left and the Thailand version on the right. But same thing with Andy Vaporlock. As they should have done before, they gave him a matte satin finish. Because a rusty-like car, a car that's, getting a little dirty, oxidizing, it's not going to be perfectly shiny. And like, look at this. You could see that they made him have a glossy finish. Now, on the other hand, it's very clear he has a matte finish, which I'm very happy about. It's definitely the way they should have gone from day one. And Mattel realized this, I think, in 2017, because after they released like 5 of the Demolition Derby racers, Miss Fritter, Taco, RV, Dr. Damage, and Siglert, they then switched to doing matte finishes for all of those, which obviously makes sense as well because they're dirty and they're crashing and bashing. So very excited about that. You can see that he has his own eye plate now. That's not part of the main metal body. Right here, it's a plastic inserted piece. I think it looks okay. I'm not going to complain about it. Like, I've definitely seen worse. Probably not the best feature to Otis, though. They definitely made his mouth look more defined, which I'm happy about because it almost looks like he doesn't have one on the Chinese version. They cleaned up his bumper a bit, so it just has a couple rusty spots, whereas before it was chrome, and yet it was kind of like dirty. It was a little muddy, it looks like. I like how the headlights look. I think just like on the Andy Vaporlock, I was telling you, I thought they look better now. They look more realistic. Like these are just blobs of paint, like they're just kind of cartoonish to me, and these look a little bit more realistic. The grille is definitely more realistic because this is just chrome with nothing to split it up, whereas this is like a grate. You could see into the engine there with the black holes. Really happy with that. And on the hood here is where you can really see some differences with the oxidation. They definitely went for an entirely different aesthetic. Like I'd say that the Chinese Otis, you would definitely think that this is like dirt or mud. This clearly though is some oxidation, some rusting, some weathering. And I'm very happy to see that they went that direction. I'm also happy to see that they maintained it so he has side view mirrors that are not part of the main metal body. Because with Andy Vaporlock, they morphed them into the body. So they were attached basically to the windows. You can see here that they're still inserted plastic pieces. And I'd say they're darker than the Chinese version. Now, Otis being a lemon and everything, he has some mismatched parts here. Like, you could see this door, for example, is a brighter or a more pure blue than the rest of him. And this hubcap here is different from the rest of them. However, the Thailand hubcap is entirely different from the one on the Chinese version there. You could see that, all of them are very different. I don't know exactly which is more accurate to the film. I think the Thailand version would be. But you can see this is a much larger hubcap than the one there. And then the spokes are just straight, whereas the ones on the Chinese version there, they're curved and kind of intertwined and overlapping each other. Same thing with the ones on these sides as well. Wow, this might be one of the most different Thailand variants I've encountered in a long time. They also made that door there, even though you could tell it's a different shade, it's not as obvious. His vinyl top definitely looks more realistic, more natural. And you could feel it's kind of elevated there. Very nice. Otis always had this O logo there above his license plate. And he also has his name spelled out there. I guess maybe that's just the car model that he is. I think that's the case. They did a pretty good job. I think it looks almost even better. This decal looks better than that one. The license plate, probably not, but it's very close. This is a little bit crisper. This might be a little bit more, you could think of it as being more realistic because it's not as clear, it's dirty. I don't know. Again, the bumper's not chrome, just a little bit of rust on it. Yeah. Taillights are a little bit better, I would say, because you can see like the division there where like the trunk comes down. Wow. I'm a big fan of Thailand Otis. This is probably one of the best Thailand variations they've done in a long time. P50A means he was made during the 50th week of 2021 at the A factory in Thailand. And you can see the two notches. There's the back one and there's the front one, where we'll be able to tow him using Mater. Obviously, back in 2012 and 2016, they didn't have a Mater with a working tow hook, so this base does not have those features. And he was made during the 243rd day of 2012. I guess that doesn't really make much sense for when I said that he was made toward the beginning of the year. I thought he was. Maybe he was just reissued in a later case, and that's when I got him. I do think I got him for Christmas, so that makes sense. 12-year-old me was quite pleased, I'm sure. That was a good Christmas, I remember, because the distribution was so horrendous that year. It was absolutely terrible in 2012. Mattel did an absolute... Ugh. Like, I'd rather just, like... I don't know. There was a lot of things I'd rather do than have to live through another Mattel 2012 distribution year. And so, yeah, it made for a good Christmas, though, because, like, I didn't get anything all year, and I put, like, pretty much the entire main line on my Christmas list, like, Santa, please. And, yeah, it was a good Christmas. All right, it's time to use Mr. Mater here. Now, because we're going to be demonstrating this, I do have to recommend to you guys the movie Nocturnal Animals. It's a great film. It's a great film. I might not even be wearing pants right now just because I like to get cozy during my reviews. But anyways, here you go. Fits in perfectly and it drives super smoothly. Just like with Lightning McQueen. And honestly, it might even be a little bit better than McQueen just because of the fact that Otis is smaller. Can't take super tight turns, but you can still turn decently. See if I can focus in here. But you can see it just hooks in there nice and easy. It doesn't click in or anything, it just rests in there. But it's the perfect size where it doesn't need to click in. Let's try the back. Let's hook him in the back. All right. So this is now accurate to Cars 2 because Mater towed him this way. Otis was absolutely screaming for his life, especially when Mater had the rockets on. He thought that Mater was going fast at the beginning of the movie. God, he had something else coming, didn't he? But yeah, there you have it. Super happy that they did that. Like, that's just next level thinking. Like, whoever thought, like, oh, we're going to release Otis this year. Oh, wait, didn't Mater tow Otis? Wouldn't it be so cool if we just drilled some more holes in Otis's base? Like, that's not going to cost as much. We have to make a new base for him anyways because we haven't made him in Thailand yet. So excellent job, Mattel. I think they're doing a lot of things well this year. They're thinking ahead a lot, and I'm impressed with that. The caliber, the quality of the releases is something else to discuss, but I think they're doing a lot of things right. Now, the only comp for Otis, as in a comparable, is Fred. It's always only been Fred. They're pretty much like the same model, but Fred's quite a bit bigger. And that's because they misscaled him. Mattel's never been able to get Fred right in terms of scale, so I'd honestly love it to see them release him and try it from Thailand to see if they do any better. Because this is obviously way too big, and then this is just way too small. Like, seriously, Mattel, this is a mini racer. Like, what? I can't believe... I've never been a fan of this tiny version of Fred. It's honestly been one of my least favorite releases they've ever done. And they call this a single. I mean, this is basically Guido. Fred really should be the size of Otis. Undoubtedly. And so if they do re-release Fred this year, I would absolutely adore it if they made him the size of Otis. However, I feel like more likely he would be this mini size because that's what they've been releasing him as ever since like 2008. Yep. So Fred got 2007. I think, yeah, was that like his only year? Or 2008, I think he also was released large. I don't know. I don't quite remember. But I do remember in 2008 they released him with the bumper stickers, and I think that's when they switched him to the smaller version. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below which version of Otis do you prefer. It's pretty clear which one I prefer, and I hope you guys agree with me. I mean, you don't have to, but I think most of us will prefer the Thailand version just because I know you guys. We all know each other, right? We all know that we like things to be accurate. We like things to be clear, and Otis does a good job with both of those things. So yeah, guys, I will see you soon for another video. Bye now.